Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Noel3D. Today I'm going to show you how I created this nature scene inside Blender only using free assets. So without further waiting, let's go to the tutorial. So guys, when we start, the first thing that I did was try to find a reference image. As you can see, you can use Pinterest, and I have landed on this picture. It's really great. So I will try to recreate the scene. So the first thing that I'm going to do is try to match up the perspective so that I can make the camera angle as accurate as possible as the picture. And to do that, I have used a simple software called FSpy, which is really great to match up the perspective from an image. But for the specific tutorial, I've already done the process for you. All you have to do is just download the startup file and you can follow along. So after this, the next process is going to be try to find the assets which we are going to use. And to do that, I have used free assets. The first one is the plant library, which is free. Just download it and make sure that you have installed it correctly. And the second one is from polyhaven.com. You have different kind of trees. As you can see, I will place the links in the description below. This is a blend file. You don't need to install any add-on, but they have paid version add-on. I think you can also download that, but for this case we're not going to use any paid products, and you can download the resolution that you want and you can download it. It's a Blender file, and after you have done that, just go inside Blender. If you have correctly installed the plant library, what you're going to see is, if you go to this asset browser and if you click right here and if you go to this asset plant library, you are going to see something like this. As you can see, we have a lot of free assets that are really good looking. And for this tutorial, I have already selected the plants or the grasses we are going to use. As you can see, inside this outliner, I have placed them inside of a collection, which this is going to be useful for later. And if you want to use the exact plants that I have used, what you can do is see the name. As you can see, GS Forest, and you can go to this search tab and type the name. And as you can see, these are the plants that I have used. So the next process is going to be creating the grass. And to do that, we are going to use geometry nodes. So first, let us select the plane, select it, and go to this modifier properties and click this add modifier. And you'll see this option called geometry nodes and click it. After you have done that, click this new and you have a geometry node setup. And to see what we are going to do, just click right here and go to this geometry node editor, and we have this setup. So first I'm going to select this one and I'm going to move it right here so that I will have some kind of working space. And then I'm going to press Shift A, and then I'm going to go to the search and then first type distribute point on faces. As you can see, select this one and place this one right here. As you can see, we have some kind of result. And then next I'm going to press Shift A again and then type instance on points like this and place this one right here. So after this, press Shift A again and type rotate Euler and select this one and place this one right here and plug this rotation to this rotation, and also again this rotation to this rotation. And then after this, I'm going to add a random value. Press Shift A and type random value like this and place this one right here. And I'm going to change this float to vector. After I have done that, I'm going to plug this vector to this rotate by. And then after this, I'm going to change this the first and the second value to V0. And for the third one, we are going to use it later. It's going to help us rotate the instances that we are going to scatter across the plane on the Z-axis. So after this, I'm going to add a noise texture, which is going to help us for the scale and for the scattering. So press Shift A and then type noise texture like this and place it right here. And I'm going to plug the value to the factor to the scale, and then I'm going to add a color ramp and place this one right here. This color ramp is going to give us more control over this noise texture, which we are going to see later. So basically, this is the setup. So the final step is going to be adding the collection that we have created earlier. So the first thing that I'm going to do is scatter the grass. So as you can see, I have the grass. So drag and drop the grass right here, as you can see. After you have done that, plug this instance towards this instance and we have some kind of result. Make sure that you have activated separate children and reset children. And if you have noticed, we're not seeing the plane. And to fix that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this one right about here and also place this one right about here. And I'm going to press Shift A and then type join geometry like this and place this one right here. And I'm going to plug this one right here. As you can see, when I do that, I can see the plane which the instances are being scattered. And then after this, let us start tweaking some values so that we can find the results that we're looking for. In order to see things more clearly, I'm going to go to this top view. Now we have more visibility. As you can see, I can make it like this. I can make it, as you can see, we have different results like this. And also I can decrease the scale. When I do that, I can see the noise texture more clearly, as you can see. Just play with the values until you find something that you are satisfied with. And also you can change the rotation. If I change this one like this, as you can see, it's going to give us a random rotation like this. And also I can go to this tab, and I can see the density, and I can change the density. As you can see, it's going to give us more dense grass. And also I can change the seed so that it will give me a different result, as you can see. So guys, this is just the basic setup which you're going to use. Just experiment with this until you find something that you're looking for. After you have finished scattering this one, the next thing that you are going to do is just place this one right here. I'm going to select everything like this, and then press Shift D to duplicate it. After you have duplicated this one, plug this one to this mesh as we have done for this one, and then again plug this one right about here. As you can see, we have another set. For this one, I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to use this grass tool, which is the collection that I have created, as you can see. And then for this one, I can also use a different setup like this, as you can see. And also, if I need to add another setup, I can just select this one, and then again duplicate it, and use the same process as I have done earlier. Just plug this one to the mesh, and also plug this one to the geometry like this. And then for this one, I'm going to use this one for the dead leaves. As you can see, dead leaves. And then again, I can play with this one. In order to see things clearly, what you can do is just hold on Control and then right click and drag your mouse like this. It's going to delete the connection so that you can see only this node. By using this, you can control it separately. Play with this until you find something that you are satisfied with. After you have finished, plug everything back together so that you can see the final result. So guys, by using this method, you can also add another layer until you find something that you are satisfied with. So I'm going to play with this until I find something that I'm looking for. So after a little bit of tweaking, this is the result that I have found. As you can see, I have also added this plants and also added some kind of dead leaves on the asphalt, which we are going to texture later. And in order to see things clearly, I'm going to add some kind of light. So to do that, go to this rendered view, and we have something like this. Everything is black, so we need to add some kind of light. And the first thing is I'm going to change the render engine to cycles. And then after I have done that, just click this one, and I'm going to disable this scene wallet. This is just a quick fix. We're going to do the actual lighting later. And then after this, let's go to this color management, and I'm going to give it a look of medium high contrast. And I'm going to give it an exposure value of 1. As you can see, the scene is going to be a lot brighter, and we're going to see the results more clearly. And I'm going to give it some kind of curve and make this point a little bit like this so that it will be less bright. As you can see, this is the result. After we have done this, the next thing is we are going to texture the ground. So let us select this plane. As you can see, it does not have any kind of texture. And I'm going to go to this shader editor. This is the place where you are going to texture, and I'm going to press N. As you can see, I have an add-on called ePBR, which is called Easy PBR. You can download it. It's a free add-on. I will place the link in the description below. After you have downloaded and installed it correctly, you will have something like this. We have two options. The first one is local. The second one is online. Online is where you can find all of the assets. But for the local, you can only see the downloaded assets. So for this one, I'm going to give it a grass. So what I'm going to do is just go to grass. As you can see, we have different options. Select this grass. I have downloaded the grass that we are going to work on. In the next, hit plus. As you can see, we have two options. The first one is material, and the second one is node group. For this one, I'm going to click material and select the resolution. When you download, it's going to give you an option of the resolution that you are going to download. For this case, I have already downloaded the 1K, and then after this, hit OK. Now the material, as you can see, it has been added. In order to see things clearly, I'm going to go to this modifier properties, and I'm going to disable this geometry nodes. As you can see, this is the texture that's applied. Just select it, and then as you can see, this is the node setup that this add-on has created for us. The first thing is I'm going to disable the specularity. This is most of the time what I do when it comes to grass. And then you can also add a hue saturation node like this, and you can control the saturation and the hue, and also the value so that it will match up, you know, the grass. And then after this, let us scatter this one, select it. Let me enable this one so that we can see clearly. And then for this one also, I'm going to use a tile texture. So just click this one and go to tile. Here's the tiles, and I have already downloaded a bunch of them, and I'm going to use this tile 038, and you can hit plus, and we have two options. The first one is the material, as I have said earlier, and this one is the resolution. Since I need 2K, I have downloaded the 2K, and then hit OK like this. Now the material has been applied, and if you're wondering how you can download it, just click this download button. When I do that, as you can see, it will give me a different option. Just select the one that you want and click OK. It will download it. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to give it some kind of displacement. To do that, first I'm going to add a modifier, which is a subdivision surface like this. And then next I'm going to use the experimental feature, which is going to give us a more good result. Just select this experimental. And if I go to this modifier properties, as you can see, the subdivision setting has been changed. So this is what we want. Just keep this as the default value. And then after this, go to this material properties, and in the setting, if you go to the setting and then the surface, we have an option called displacement bump only. Change this one to displacement and bump. When I do that, as you can see, we have some kind of displacement, but this is too much. We need to adjust the amount. So to do that, just go to the displacement value right here. Use a value maybe 0.02 or something, or maybe 0.2, 0.1, 0.05. I think 0.05 is going to be good. And also I'm going to press Shift A and then add a hue saturation node, or I can add an RGB curve like this, and I can make the texture to be a little bit more darker like this. As you can see, now we can see the textures even more. And I'm going to apply this one also for the curve like this. I think this is good, but what I'm going to do is just select this one and then click this one so that it will be a different material. And then I'm going to change this one to bump only so that it won't be displaced. I want the displacement to be applied on this part. I don't want it to be applied on the curve. And then maybe you can press GZ and move it a little bit upward so that we can see it more. Yeah, I think this is good. And also I can adjust the scale. You can adjust the scale, maybe use 0.5 or something. Yeah, I think this is good. And for this asphalt, just select this one and go to this EPBR, as I have said. Just change this one to asphalt like this, or you can use a road, which is right here. And I have different, if I go to this online, I have different textures, but for this case I have already downloaded this one. So just hit plus and hit OK. You can also use the 1K. Since I have already UV unwrapped this one, you don't have to worry about it. And one thing that I would like to add is if I go to this foreground, and if I select this one, as you can see, we have ambient occlusion. So I'm going to also add this one right here so that we'll have more detail. To do that, I'm going to press Shift A and then add a mix color. And then after I have done that, I'm going to plug, maybe just let me move this one first like this. Just press G to move it like this. And I'm going to plug the ambient occlusion like this on the second one. And I'm going to change this one to multiply. And then I'm going to make this to 1. As you can see, if I make this one to 0, it's like this. If I make this one to 1, we have a little bit more detail. And also I'm going to make this one a little bit more darker like this, and maybe make the saturation to be 0.3 or something. It is not going to change that much, but I think I like the result. And also let me apply the same for this one. So the next process is going to be adding the bench and the street lamp, which are both free, and you'll find the links in the description below. This bench is from 3D Warehouse and it's not fully textured, so you have to texture them by your own. Since I have already shown you how you can texture, you can use this EPBR to texture this chair or the bench. And for the street lamp, you don't have to worry about anything since it's fully textured. from polyheaven.com. All you have to do is just place them in the proper position. And then after this, let us add the trees. And to do that, I have already, collected the trees that I am going to use. As you can see, these are all from Polyheaven. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Control C to copy them. And then I'm going to paste them right about here. Let me go to the solid view. I'm going to paste them. And I'm going to press G and then move it right about here. I don't need this one. I'm going to press X and delete this one. But for this one, don't delete this one since the trees are made using this. Don't delete these tweaks. And then after this, as you can see, if I go to this render view to see it clearly. So these are the trees. As you can see, they look realistic. So I'm just going to go to the solid view again so that I can place them faster. I'm just going to press G, Shift Z. Then I'm going to place this one right about here. And also press G and then move this one right about here. And also I'm going to select this one and then press G and move them right about here. You can hold on Shift, you can hold on Shift Z so that it will only move it on the X and the Y axis. And then if I go to my camera view by pressing 0, as you can see, this is the view. I can press G Shift Z again. And then I can press Alt E to duplicate it like this. And then press RZ and rotate it like this. And also I'm going to select like this one and press G Shift Z. Maybe go outside of the camera view so that we can place it correctly like this. And go to the camera view, as you can see. And maybe place this one so that it will be visible from the camera view like this. Press GZ. Yeah, I think this is good. So by using this method, just scatter these trees until you find something that's suitable for you. So this is the result that I have landed upon. So if I go to this rendered view, let me see what I have got so far. So this is how it's looking so far. I think it's looking really great. The next thing that we need to do is we need to add some kind of background trees right about here so that it will look more dense. And to do that, we're not going to use these high poly trees. We are going to use low poly trees from 3D Warehouse, which I will place the link in the description below. And if you are wondering how you can import them inside Blender, I have already made a tutorial on how you can, add those trees inside Blender, which you'll find the link. So by using those trees, let us make our scene more dense. So after I have added those trees, the result is going to look like this. I think it's looking really great. So the final step is going to be the lighting. We have some kind of basic lighting, but we need to upgrade it. And to do that, we are going to use a free add-on called Easy HDRI, which you can install it. And if you have correctly installed the add-on, if you press N, you'll find the add-on right about here. If you click it, you'll find something like this. In your case, it might say create world nodes. So I'm just going to select this one. After I have done that, I will have something like this. In your case, click this folder and select the folder which you have the HDRIs. And if you don't have any kind of HDRI, you can find them on polyheaven.com, which I'll place the link in the description below, and also the specific add-ons that we are going to use. So after you have done that, just hit accept and you will find the HDRIs that you have downloaded right about here. So you can experiment with those HDRIs, but as you can see, we're not seeing any change. The reason for that is if I click this one, I have already disabled scene wallet when we are, scattering or figuring out everything else. So just make sure that you have enabled this one again. When I do that, I will see the lighting from the HDRI. So you can just, select any kind of lighting like this. As you can see, you can have different kinds of lighting. You can have really strong sun and also some kind of overcast. But for this scene, I think this one is going to be good. And I'm going to go to this world properties so that I can see the setup. As you can see, it has given me two setups. The first one is the lighting, the direct lighting, and the second one is this one. If I select this one and move it right about here, as you can see, this one is going to be for the background and this one is going to be for the lighting. So the next thing is, let us increase the strength. So I'm going to make the sky strength to be 3 like this. I think this is good. And you can also rotate the Z angle like this. For this case, I have found the value of 160 to be good for this specific scene. But for the background, if I just navigate like this, as you can see, it has a different lighting. So for the background, what I have used is a different HDRI. So to do that, I will select another. I will select this red hill cloud like this. And then as you can see, we'll see the lighting right about here. So I'm going to press Ctrl C to copy the lighting, the HDRI. And then I'm going to press Ctrl V to paste it and select it like this. And we have right here. And just make sure that you have placed the original HDRI like this. And then in order to see the background, what you can do is just hit this value to be 1 like this. And when I do that, I will see some kind of black background. The reason for that is this one. So what you can do is just decrease the intensity like this. When I do that, I can see the sky. You can make it 0, but sometimes just giving it a little bit value might help with the realism of the background. So if I press 0 to see what I have got, this is what I have got so far. And also let me give it a different control mechanism for this one. Also press Shift D, and then I'm going to plug the vector to the vector. For this one, we have also a different mapping mechanism. For this case, I have found -11 degrees to be the exact angle that's good for me. So after I have done that, as you can see, this is what I'm getting. The last thing I'm going to add is what I'm going to do is just let me place this one right about here. I'm going to press Shift A and then add a mix shader like this. I'm going to plug this one right here. And then I'm going to press Shift D, duplicate this background and plug this one right here. And I'm going to place this one right about here. And then I'm going to take this diffuse ray and place it like this. The reason that I'm doing this one is I don't want any kind of saturation that's coming from the HDRI to affect the diffuse. So I'm just going to make the diffuse to be non-saturated. So just for the final shape, just select this hue saturation and place it right about here. And I'm going to make the saturation to be 0, something like this. As you can see, when I do that, I have a different kind of lighting. I think it's a little bit more different. So this is the lighting setup that I have used. And lastly, let us give it some kind of post-production. And to do that, just click this one and go to this composer. If I drag this one like this is what we will find. And in your case, if you're not seeing this, just click this use nodes. After I have done that, I'm going to move this one like this. And then press Shift A and then add a color balance. We're going to give it some kind of, just color balance, simple post-production. And then I'm going to press Shift D and then change this one to offset power and slope like this. And also I'm going to give it some kind of hue saturation like this, just hue saturation value. In order to see what we're doing in the viewport, just go right here and make sure that you have activated this always in the composer like this. So if I increase the gain like this, as you can see, it's going to be more bright. For this case, I have found a value 1.3 something to be good for this one. And for the gamma, which is going to make the darker parts of our render to be more dark, so I have found 0.851 to be good for this specific scene. And also for the power, just increase slightly like this, and also increase this one just slightly like this. And for the hue, just let me decrease the hue. I think 0.45 or something. I think something like this, maybe 0.459. I think this is going to be good. And for the saturation, I'm going to decrease the saturation. I think this value is really good. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add some kind of light so that I'll have some kind of focus right about here. To do that, just Shift right click right here. Just click this one so that we can see things clearly. Press Shift A and then add a light like this. Add an area light. And then press GC like this. Let me go to this solid diffuse so that I can have more performance. And then press GY like this. And then press GZ. And then I'm going to change this to disk. And maybe change the size like this. And I'm going to make the power to 500. After I have done that, I'm going to select this one, right click, set the origin to the geometry like this. And then select this one, add constraint, and I'm going to select this track too. Then after I have done that, click this object picker and then select this object. When I do that, the light is going to face this bench. Then if I go to this rendered view like this, I'm going to see the result. So this is the result. Maybe I'm going to make this one a little bit far away like this. Just make it a little bit far away. And then maybe I'm going to give it some kind of temperature. So So just select this black body, maybe use 4000 for this case so that we have some kind of warm color. Press GY, just place it somewhere like this so that you'll have a result. So guys, this is the result after I have adjusted the lighting. And the next thing is I'm going to add some kind of dead leaves right about here, but I'm not going to use geometry nodes. I'm going to scatter them by hand. So after I have placed the dead leaves, it's looking like this. I think it looks really great. So finally, go to this render properties. Let us adjust some render settings. In the render, make sure that the max sample is 256, since we don't need anything more than this, since it's external scene. It is not going to need that much samples. And in the denoise, I'm going to enable this use GPU. Maybe you can use this full global illumination, since we have a lot of translucent leaves. And then after this, I think everything is good. Maybe go to this output properties and change the resolution to 300 so that we'll have more crisp results. After this, what you have to do is just go to this render and select this render image. You'll have your render image. So guys, this is all for today. I hope you have learned from this tutorial. If you like what I do, please consider liking my channel, and also please subscribe so that I can keep making videos like this in the future. And if you're interested in the project file, you can find them on my Patreon, and also you can buy them. So see you in the next